Okay, please call upon the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shashank, to start the meeting officially.
Please come forward. Yeah. Please occupy the first table so that it will be easy for anyone to speak on stage to reach you. Yeah, please settle down. Start.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good afternoon.
Warm and enthusiastic welcome to District 126 Chief Judge and Judges Training Program. Let's start with a huge round of applause. To begin with, I would like to state the district statement. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And in this meeting, we have 3 ground rules. The first one is do not talk about sex, religion, and politics. And no crosstalk or crosstalk when the speaker is speaking. And the ones you are attending online, please keep your devices on mute. And once you are the one you are attending offline, can you please put on your noise making devices? I will give you 20 seconds. And now, to take the meeting forward, I would like to invite a passionate Toastmaster who is the president of Vision Toastmasters and also serving as assistant district training manager of District 126. And she's also my mentor, Toastmaster Pragya, on the stage.
Go Pragya!
Thank you, Toastmaster Shashank, for that invite, and I'm a part of Toastmasters. That's my formula, which my mentee forgot. But I welcome you all in the physical space, in person, as well as people joining us across District 126 online to the District Judges and Chief Judges training from District 126. As the Sergeant at Arms have already set up the rules, I would request all the people joining us in person that in case you have any questions, any queries, please write it in the chat box. We have a moderator here who will be helping us read out your questions as and when needed. You can also raise your virtual hand by the raise hand button which you can see on the Zoom chat. For the people sitting here, you can raise actual hands. Okay, and please use emojis of clapping hearts, whatever you like when the session is going on and it's liking something. So please do be a part of it as much actively as possible. Going forward, first question: are you all excited to be here as well as online joining us today? Online people, I need some. You can unmute and speak.
No, they can't unmute.
Okay. You did all of it. No problem. So, first of all, as we move forward, I will tell a little bit about Toastmasters and its ideology altogether to the people who have joined us who are new part of Toastmasters and might not have heard too much of it. So, in Toastmasters, all the members are guided by a set of essential core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. These are the 4 core values which we all follow when we are a part of Toastmasters. And in this journey of excellence, Chief Judges and Judges training is something which takes us a leap forward. We also have few of the dignitaries of Toastmasters International District 126 joining us today. May I please call upon Toastmaster Sandeep on stage once so that the people who are joining us online can also see who your program quality director is. So, a little address from our program quality director for the people who have not met him before.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pragya. I hope I'm audible to the online participants, and I'm sure the offline participants are able to hear me on stage. Yeah. A warm welcome to Chief Judge and Judges Training Program one more time from District 126. And I would like to first apologize for two reasons. The first thing, we had a challenge with the past venue, which we declared through email. So we had to change the venue in the last minute. But I really appreciate each one of you who joined in person to make it to the updated venue or the changed venue. Thank you so much for that. And the second reason I would like to apologize or regret is the starting time of the meeting. As we are aware, especially the Hyderabad citizens, there is a lot of traffic congestion from last 2 days because of heavy rains. So that was the reason we started late this session. But again, I appreciate and wholeheartedly thank you for understanding and being with us and supporting us in this training program. As a new district, we are starting and we would like each member of our district to understand the basics of the purpose of Toastmasters, purpose of contest, and most importantly, the purpose of judging the best of the best contestants. One of the key points for a member experience is contest, and we would like all the members of District 126 to be aware of how to judge a contest. With that, I'll not take much time because we have two amazing and wonderful Toastmasters who will be taking you through the sessions and we will wait for them. With that, I'll hand over the session to our wonderful host again, Toastmaster Pragya.
Thank you, Toastmaster. May I also introduce to you the Club Group Director for District 126, Toastmaster Victor.
Good evening, friends. Good afternoon, friends, Toastmasters and guests. I welcome all of you to this wonderful training program on GP and JTP. I wish you all a wonderful learning and take the best out of it today. Ask any queries if you want and get yourself a lot of learning today. Thank you and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Vikram, for that. Okay. Going forward, as it's already late, I would go on directly introducing why this chief judges and judges training is important and why this is conducted. All I could find out on Google search for this probably was that when you work as a speech judge or a chief judge, the responsibilities of being just, fair, accurate, impartial, and there's so many responsibilities that come together with it. Many a times our own inhibitions will come into picture and will take over when we are judging. But we have trainers here who will exactly tell us of what all we need to keep in mind. Chief judges and judges training also surfaces the characteristics and the responsibilities of the role, as well as it helps us to understand the process to perform this particular role to the best of our abilities. The Speech Contest Chief Judge and Judges Training is a seminar that helps to define and refine Toastmasters speech contest judging skills. Good judging imparts a feeling of fairness to the contestants and the audience, and that the right choice was made to the best the judges and chief judges could do. But is that it? No, because we in Toastmasters are also here for learning some leadership skills along with all these other aspects. As a chief judge and judge, a Toastmaster gets to lead, learn to increase communication skills, and lead as a contest judge, which develops the aspects of organizing, managing conflict, and so much more. For today's special training, we have two experienced Toastmasters with us. Because as they say, you will be the best when you learn from the best. And that's what we at District 126 have got for you. The first training will be for the Chief Judges training. The trainer for Chief Judges training is DTM Aajay Gujarat. DTM Aajay is a seasoned Toastmaster who has left no stones unturned when it comes to leadership role in district, club, area, division, and so much more. He believes that continuous learning is what takes us forward and is currently enhancing his learning by being a member of two districts. One district is 126 and another being District 122, which as far as I know is from Pakistan. May I please call upon the trainer for the Chief Judges Training Program. Just to give a little bit of just the eligibility for the Chief Judges, taking the role of Chief Judge is level 2 completion. Rest all we will know with our DTM Aajay. And please call him. It takes time to get the best. I have always heard all these things take time, and so is our DTM
Thank you, everyone. That's a wonderful introduction to Kenya. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to know what is a contest in your view. Any answers from the audience?
Finding the best.
Yes, finding the best. May I call that as a winner? Okay. Next, any answers, please? Mhm. Okay. So how different the pathways speeches are different from contest speeches?
In pathways, you're only competing against us. You're improving
Okay.
your earlier version. In a contest, you're competing against us.
Okay. In a contest,
You're competing against us.
you're competing against other people. Okay. Any more?
We have
Pathways are as per the project checklist that we are attempting.
Right.
Contest is as per that checklist.
Judging ballot. Right. So,
we have Shakib responding where people compete. Sivalita and responding participation.
participation.
The first question.
Okay. Okay.
I think other than the competitive aspect of it, you are able to address a much larger audience, so you get to understand how to be relatable to a much larger set of.
Okay. So now throughout this session, I will be speaking more about the contest, especially the chief judges and the other contest group players. On a high level, you may have a lot of questions, but I may not answer all. But if you have any questions further, there is an email ID I will be sharing with you at the end, towards the end of the session. Please do email to that. Okay, all good? Shall we begin?
Yes.
Now, what are the roles that are required to run a contest successfully? Contest chair, chief judge, timer, Zoom master. Contestants are not required, right? And most important, who?
Audience.
Audience.
Ballot counters.
Ballot counters. Timers are already done. Any more answers from online?
The early one of the question was showing yourself to the people.
Okay, showing yourself to the people. Now let's see what are the roles that are required for a contest. So these are the roles required for a contest. Contest chair, chief judge, judges, sergeant arms, timers, ballot counters, contestants, Zoom master if the contest is online, and if it is offline, that is in person, Zoom master is not required. And most important, there must be somebody to laugh at your speeches, right? So audience are required. A few instructions before you plan for the contest. So what are the instructions? Decide the area contest date with a minimum gap of 14 days between the club and area contest. Be ensured that your club contest is 14 days before the area level contest. Why? Is there any logic? Yes, what is that logic? Why we have given 14 days?
Learn your mistakes in your club contest and try to make it.
Exactly. So for the winners to compete in the area level, they have to rectify their speeches and be prepared for the area level, right? They might be professionals, housewives, or maybe busy. They will have 14 days to prepare and enhance their speech in the area level contest. The next, 3 weeks before the contest, choose the contest chair, who in turn decides the chief judge. Okay, who will appoint the contest chair, who will appoint the chief judge, we will see in the next slides. 2 weeks before the contest chair and the chief judge starts meeting the respective teams, take assurance and commitment. This is must and very, very important. People will say, don't worry, I will come there, I will come there. I will be there. Don't worry, you sleep. After that, we will not have enough sleep. We will have sleepless nights. Okay, because most of the people have seen last minute dropouts, especially the judges. The contest chairs will not drop because they are very committed, but judges will commit in more than one club and they will take time to travel. I'm not pinpointing them, they will take time to travel, and especially like underway traffic. So take a commitment before they do that role. 1 week before the contest, have all photocopies ready, send emails, messages to the contestants, contest officials. This is very, very important. All the stationery required for the contest, whether it may be the ballot papers or the certificates or whatever it may be, even the attendance tracker, okay, you have to be prepared. So that much preparation is required for a contest. 1 week before the contest, have your contest chair, kit, and chief judge kit ready. So all this should be ready before the contest. Means 1 week before the contest. Now, when can we fix the date for a club level contest? I'm basically focusing on the clubs because from there itself the contest begins. Okay? So the club decides the contest date. For example, a club decides the contest date, and VP Education. What does the VP Education do? It's on the slide, right? Appoints the contest chair, and the VP Education roll out the nominations within the club, inviting the nominations for the contest. That's the VP Education job. And what is the contest chair's job? He will appoint chief judge, and chief judge will appoint all other role players like voting judges, tie-breaking judge, and all those people. Clear here till so far? Any questions? Yeah. Now, eligibility of a contestant. So this is very, very important. People might do mistakes here, commit mistakes here, but please be careful. All the district leaders are not eligible to contest in the contest. Who are the district leaders? The leaders who are from area director and above. Area director, division director, top 3 or top 7. Okay, those people are not eligible to contest. And one more important thing, if a member is having dual or maybe more than one membership in a club, that member can participate in all the clubs in which he or she is a member, but cannot participate in the area level. Okay, he or she can participate in only one area as per their choice, but cannot compete in more than one area. So, for example, if I'm a member in district 98 and 126, I can participate at the club level in both the districts, but I cannot participate in the area level. Okay, I have to participate on my choice the area. I will choose 126. Right. The next. No contestant can compete more than. Okay, this is done. And more important, when role players are not there, okay, this might happen. I have seen this happening. When role players are not there, sometimes contestants will act as role players and they participate in the contest. Okay, past is past. Don't do these mistakes this time. Okay, the timer, counter, tally counter, sergeant arms, and other contest officials are not allowed to participate in the same contest. Underline in the same contest. Okay, for example, Miyapur is having a contest. I'm a member of, or maybe I'm participating as a timer. That is my home club. I cannot speak or contest there because I'm a timer already there. But I can contest there if I'm a timer somewhere. So that can happen. Contesting and taking the role player will not happen at the same time. Is this clear?
There are two contests during the speech and evaluation. You as a timer, can you say two timers in one contest and not be a participant, but be a contestant in the other contest in the same contest on the same speech?
Yep.
Is it limited to the timer, counter, sergeant arms, each rules, or can I be a judge in another club's contest while participating in my club?
You can be a judge in other clubs and participate in other contest as a
contestant in my club.
Yes, as a contestant. That will work. But chief judge, being a judge and contestant in the same club will not work. Yes, Vikram? Yes, this is only for club level. Yeah.
Your role of playing a judge for contest and being a contestant of the club. This is the seat at club.
Right.
Suppose you are winner of the contest. You can't take it.
1 minute. Can they listen?
Yeah, they can listen. It's audible.
It's audible, right? Okay, please go ahead. Sorry, Vikram.
You are the winner of the contest. Now, can you take up a role in the contest?
Come again, sorry.
If you're already won the contest in one club, so technically you're going to the next step.
Right.
After winning, can you still be the gold player in another club's contest? Which is happening after that.
No. See, if you are a winner, already a winner at a club level, you cannot be a role player. Maybe in another club meeting, club contest or either contest or maybe division contest. You are a winner means winner. That's it. Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. Eligibility of a judge. For a club level contest, the judge must be a paid member. He or she should not have any dues with Toastmasters International. Okay, and from area above, from area, division, and district, he or she has to complete 6 speeches from competent communication, that is CC manual, or please focus on this section. Earn certificate of completion of level 1 and level 2. People will say, I completed level 2, but I did not submit in the base camp. That is not allowed. So when I come back as a district chief judge, when I come back and ask you for the proof, we should be in a position to show the certificate from the base camp, level 2 completion certificate. So please be careful that while you are appointing a judge at the area level, he or she should complete level 2 and have a certificate. Now, please ensure you appoint the tiebreaker judge very wisely. For example, you see the ballot counter. See, the scores are tallied. All contestants got 10, 10, 10. You have to break the tie as a chief judge. So you will depend on whom? Tie-breaking judge, right? So be careful while you are appointing a tie-breaking judge. When you are having senior contestants, senior Toastmasters contestants, make sure that you appoint a tie-breaking judge who is senior. Okay. Now let's move on to the contest chair. So these are the planning ideas for the contest chairs. Reach out to the contestants and please focus on this for eligibility of the contestants. If you are an EC member, obviously you will find those details in the club center. If you are not an EC member, you can either approach the executive committee members or any area director to check the contestants' eligibility. Right? Now, create a WhatsApp group. These are all basic information. Brief contestants about do's and don'ts. The contest briefing will happen by contest chair. Assign mentors to the contestants. Plan the budget for any expenses. If it is happening physically, maybe you might incur snacks, tea, or maybe okay. The certificate is also cost, right? So plan them accordingly and be careful on that. This is the most important slide. How many judges you want for a contest at the club level, area level, division level, and district level. So I think you can all read for online people. At the club level, you should have 5 voting judges, 1 tiebreakers, contest chair 1, timers 2, and tally counters 2. When it comes to district, the tally counters will be 3 people. Any questions? Now let's move on to the next slide.
The recent is back with the CS contest with the option of hybrid and online. How will we consider the timer for these roles specifically which are relevant? Do we consider them as one person online and one person?
No.
The requirement might differ.
Now this year we recommend clubs. So this year we are going offline from area, from all the funds from area or from offline, sorry. But for the clubs, we leave it we leave it to the clubs whether they want to go for online or offline contests. We don't lay down the strict rules when it comes to the clubs, but from area level, yes, CBC wants to.
There's one change. We received instruction from Board of Directors Eligibility, online or hybrid.
Online or hybrid.
Yeah, the program director will discuss with the IO and then it will go to the state executive committee for a motion and it will be passed.
Okay.
From what I read yesterday, that there is a participant.
Let us separate.
If the participant says I want to do online only, we have to oblige to that requirement. Is what I heard from that message which was
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay. So it might be online or hybrid. Yeah, we will update. The PQD team will update you on this. But as of now, it's online or hybrid. Okay, so these are the contest chairs preparation checklist. So be prepared with all the materials or maybe the certificates, whatever you wanted to do. And chief judge, be ready with the following. Okay, find out the correct and appropriate judges, voting judges, and the time judge. Make the time record, tally contest sheets and results notification sheets ready with you. And the contest chair, as informed earlier, please be thorough with your roles and responsibilities. Okay, this is done. Yes, now moving on to the timer. A contest should have 2 timers when it comes to any speech. And one timer will show the timing cards and another timer will track the time taken by the contestant. And timer 2 will submit the timer sheet to whom? The chief judge. 2 tally counters will be there except at the district level. Okay. Now, chief judge tallies the tally counters to the voting judge. Now, here one question for you: who will count that, or who will tally the scores? Is it the chief judge or the tally counter? Tally counter.
For the tie-breaking judge?
No, not the tie-breaking judge. Who will make a score?
Chief judge. What I have seen ideally is both of them are sitting together and count.
Correct. Both of them will sit together, but it's the duty of the tally counter. Chief judge will not interfere. Chief judge will just watch. And what is his duty? After arriving at the winners 1, 2, 3, he will make a note on the results form. So it's a role and responsibility of the tally counter to tally the scores. Okay. Now, tally counters must be very careful. You should not disclose the scorings or the things which have happened in the room in between you and the chief judge. Okay. Now, the Zoom master, if they are having an online meeting, so this role will come into picture. So the Zoom master needs to be trained at least 1 day in advance. He or she should know how to manage that meeting room. So that's very important. And ensure that he or she is having an updated Zoom version. Okay, so these are all the things. And now what happens during the contest? Sergeant at arms set the ground rules and keeps vigilant watching the room. Keeps guarding the contestant room and during the speech. And contest chair conducts the contest. And what is the role of chief judge? Relax. Okay. His job will come later. Now timer cannot really focus on the contest because he has to make a note. So don't lose yourself. If some speaker is very, very good, don't forget about your role. Okay, timer role. He might exceed the time and you will be at loss. Okay. So be careful while the timer. Focus on your role. Note down the time taken by the contestant. And tally counter, this person also enjoys the contest initially, but later their job begins. Towards the end, the contest chair concludes the contest, and the chief judge now jumps into action like a James Bond and collects the timer's card from whom? Which timer? Timer 1. Timer 2. So he will collect the timer's card from timer 2 and collects the ballots from all judges or tie-breaking judge. Yes. Chief judge will collect the ballot from the tie-breaking judge only. Who will collect the ballots from other judges, voting judges? Tally counters. Okay. Yes.
So the chief judge ideally should never see the ballots of other judges. Ideally. Is that the case that only the high counter should see and count the cheaper is not supposed to see the scores?
No, he will see. Obviously, he will see.
And then the supervision of
Correct.
so the chief judge is total is 200 focus versus focus when the counting is they don't make it. If they do, then that's when the
Correct.
chief judge jumps in.
Under the supervision of chief judge only, these things will happen. Okay. Now the
No, but Ajay, to cover that point, the opposite is real. The tally counters will never get to see the
tie-breaking judge. That's true. Yeah. Nobody will know what is there in the tie-breaking judge panel.
Or even who is the tie.
Yes, obviously. Who is the tie-breaking judge also?
And they never even get to know the tie-breaking balance actually.
Yes.
They will get to know.
Who will get to know?
The tally counters will get to know the tie-breaking.
Yeah, if the scores are tallied, then they will come to know, or else everything will be secret. Okay. Any questions before I proceed further? No? Okay. Now the tally counter collects ballots from the voting judges. Now protest. This is very, very important. You can make protest on how many grounds? 3 grounds. Originality, eligibility, and referencing. What is referencing here? You cannot refer the other contestant speech or name on the same stage. Clear? Any questions?
So everyone will know the title beforehand of everyone else.
Yeah, even if you take up the title also,
So it will be known. Basically, you are expected to know.
Yeah.
So the referencing protest can happen by the person whose content has been used, or anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it in a sense.
So in the sense, if I am a speaker, I use suppose English's topic, title, or something, or his name.
Both are contestants.
Yeah, both are right. Does he have to protest as a referencing protest, or anyone can do? Any contestant?
No.
Who can protest this referencing idea?
Judges can protest.
Contest, yeah. If there is a speech happening in the contest, the contestants,
All contestants have the right.
yes, because it's a breach, but they can let the CJ know for the contestant.
Got it? Any questions? Okay. So
I think one small correction. Because the protest goes to CJ. It always
You repeat that to the audience.
yes, the protest goes to the CJ. Okay, you cannot submit the protest to the contest chair or the fellow judges. It has to be conveyed to the chief judge only.
Before the announcement.
Correct. So that's the next point. That's the next point. Before the announcement of the results. Before the it means the contest is adjourned. So contest chair will adjourn the contest and move on to the next segment, right? Maybe the certificates. Okay, that part. When that part happens, you have to convey if you have any protest or not. Okay, this is the thing mentioned in the rule book.
Is it before the result is announced or before the contest?
contest is
adjourned.
When you say adjourn, the results are finalized and closed.
Like, okay, so even after the results are announced, until it is adjourned.
Until adjourn, you can raise your protest.
Even if the results have been announced.
Adjourn is closing the contest.
Adjourn is results announcement or the meeting closure.
No, contest closed.
Contest closure.
Yes, and that by default includes the results are finalized. I mean, it's closed and secure.
Before results announced, but after the contest is closed. Results will get announced after the contest is closed.
Okay.
Then the results are announced by the dignitary.
Okay. So clear? Can I move next to the next slide? Okay. And this is very important for all the prospective members who wants to be the chief judge. Yes. Any questions?
That question from Zoom. Protest can be lodged with contest shared to someone has written that, or UB has written. That's one statement. It's not a question. The second question is, can you repeat the protest part, please? And the third question is, how can a contestant protest if he or she is in a breakout room and not hearing other contestants speech? Okay, so you can just respond to these two.
So what's the first question?
First question, can you please repeat the protest part of it?
Okay. Okay, so protest can happen in 3 areas. One is originality, eligibility, and referencing. And I missed this part. Disqualification will happen on 3 bases: originality, time and eligibility, and incorrect results might also lead to the. So at that time, what happens is the timer or the ballot counter or the chief judge can interrupt, okay, and ask them to rectify the contest, or maybe the winners. Okay. Now, when there is a protest, the chief judge calls all judges in a separate breakout room. This happens. Yeah. This
Didn't cover originality and eligibility. We covered
originality and eligibility. So what happens is some contestants might take the speech from YouTube or some other website and pick it up and give the speech. There is a rule, like there should be some portion, 25% can be taken from some other, maybe YouTube or whatever quote it may be, but it has to be given credits. So, for example, if you are taking a quote from Abdul Kalam, you have to mention his name. Or if you are taking some scenario from YouTube, you have to reference from which video, from which channel, or maybe what source you have taken that or carried that portion into your speech, and it should not go beyond 25% of your entire speech. This is originality. And eligibility. When it comes to eligibility, say for example, pathways level 2. Okay? A member has completed, but he contested, but he did not submit in the base camp, and he did not get the certificate. It's ineligible because the person has to have the certificate from the base camp level 2 completion. So that gives you eligibility in terms of eligibility. Clear on the 3 segments? Okay, so now let's move on to the next. What are the other 2 questions?
Second question was how can, like you have already mentioned, how can contestant protest? He or she is a I've written take it on.
Okay, yes, thank you.
I've replied to that once. That's it.
Third question?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Yes, please.
The protest can happen at club level.
Yes, it will happen.
There is a follow-up question. Let's say there is a contestant, a co-contestant, right?
Okay.
Who happens to be on, like he runs a podcast or something like that. So according to you, the 25% part which you mentioned, if it is from the contestant who's already there, the content he has prepared on YouTube.
It's his own right.
Yeah.
So the idea is plagiarism of others' content should not be done.
No, not plagiarism. The 25% that we are referencing to this person who's already a contestant. Can that happen?
No, it should not, because it comes under the referencing. It comes under referencing.
So the content he made on YouTube has nothing to do with the speech.
See,
or
in YouTube, if the YouTuber is a contestant,
yeah,
then it gives to referencing.
Are you saying that the person is same content, same contest?
No, he's not.
Then it is not referencing. It still falls under the original.
Okay, if he's using the YouTube idea and he's referencing to that name, then it still becomes referencing. But here it's not referencing to contesting.
It's not referencing because
I am doing it to his social media personality.
Okay. Okay.
I'm referencing
If you are,
to a part of his video.
Okay.
And I want this to. I'll have to do it because I'll have to give credits to the person that is there. Now with this person, I'm not allowed to take his name. You said it becomes different.
No. If he's a contestant, co-contestant, then you are not allowed to take the name. Okay. If he is not a Toastmaster at all, you have to give credits to him. You have to take his name.
So I should be avoiding using the
Content
content.
in the first place.
Very simple.
But I think here the spirit in referencing is not to refer to a contestant who's also competing with you and his name.
Right.
So as an example, I think that doesn't break the spirit. If you're using this content which is outside, it's still giving credit to it. I'm guessing that.
That is the point of my question. मैं खुद हूँ अगर मेरे क्लब में कोई
अच्छा, you are a YouTuber.
let's say if I see somebody that is using my co-contestant
Okay.
using part of my video from somewhere,
Okay.
and he goes ahead and mentions my name,
Okay.
so I can protest.
Yes.
So basically, don't take a Toastmasters Club, so you have
No.
Kumar can be any other.
Okay. Okay. You can protest. In your scenario, you can protest. Okay.
One question here, level 2 only for ISC, right? Is the question from
Correct. Level 2 is for IST. For other type of contests like HSC, table topics and evaluation contest in good standing. Okay. Now move to the next. This is very important. If you perform as chief judge role, the report has to be sent. the chief judge report has to be sent 7 days from the contest. Okay, which means it should be in a good order. Okay, I will show you an Excel file. So it should be properly filled. To whom we should send? To the district chief judge and PQD, copying PQD. Okay, these two people has to be included in the email. And when you are having nominations at the club level, you cannot go as you wish. Okay, it should be an official content. Official email has to be sent to the district chief judge informing that this club is going to have the nominations for this type of contest on this date. Maybe, okay. So all those details has to be there. I will show you the next slide. But the email should be sent to the district chief judge and the PQD. Copying area director. So don't miss this person. Area director is a must because he has to know what is happening in the club, right? In terms of the contest. Your area director, okay, not my area director. My area director is very clear. Okay, so this is the sample template of an email. Okay, but please include the club name, the subject line, type of contest report, which area you belongs to, and maybe you can change the content there. You can play with that. But I will show you the Excel file as well. So this is what we have. So any questions before I open the Excel file? No questions? Clear or I confuse you? Clear? Yes, please.
If I have won a contest in my club and I want to be a judge from a club that's in a different district, can I be a judge?
You won the contest.
Yes. There is a mother my club level district my district, and somebody calls to be a judge at district 98.
You can. You can.
Unless it is IC.
Yeah.
Of the same contest. Contest type. Right. You can be. Pragya, can you please help me here? So I won't take much time here. I will just explain how to fill the chief judge report. How much time am I taking? It is now 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Okay, just keep it. So this is how the CJ report looks like. So previous year, if you remember previous year submission of the CJ, we rolled out a form and you need to fill in the details. Who is the contestant, who is the chief judge, who is the judges, and all those details. But there's a little challenge. So in that form, we cannot include more than 10 judges. We have more than 10 judges, then it will not be good, useful. But we can here insert a row separate in the middle, and then you can add judges if you are having more than 10. And here the name of the contestants, the club name, area, email ID of the contestants, their phone numbers, and more. If you move towards right hand side, judges information will be here. Okay, the name of the judge, whether he is a DTM or the educational levels, and the club the judge belongs to, and the area, the email address, and their phone number or the contact numbers. So this is how you need to fill in the contest. This chief judge. And one more thing, you have to mention the contest chair name also at the bottom. If you are having HSC and speech evaluation contest, both the contest names and all the contest details. If any file or any club missing any information, then I won't rectify on my own. I will send it back to you for the rectification. Okay, so be thorough in filling this Excel file before you send to the district chief judge. Clear?
Name of the test speaker is critical so that in the future any contestant does not invite the same test speaker, giving an undue advantage to a. Are you clear on that? The test speaker must never repeat. The name should never repeat at any level. So that if you do, then there's always a chance of one speaker having an undue advantage of already listening to that speaker at some point. the jury. That is how the test speakers name is standard. If the speaker is changing the speech, will that be still a no? I mean, out of like
because contestant will know how he speaks, right?
you will not give you a chance.
How many
Okay. Yeah.
One point I would like to add. Please treat this CJ report as the thing you need to do first time, right? Because any changes you're requesting in this might lead to cancelling of your contest entirely. Because this is one of the very important documents where the details of the judges are also mentioned. If you are trying to change it, then the question comes why you are trying to change. So that becomes a question of the integrity part. And we don't want to encourage such changes. So if you're doing it, do it first time right.
Yes, this question, test speaker, because we have talked about all the other role players. We didn't see test speaker as a role player. I'm not sure how is that considered, right? And the rules, any rules for test speaker being a winner somewhere and then going as a test speaker somewhere in a different context. What are the rules? If there are any?
If a person is a winner, he cannot participate as a test speaker.
Okay.
Clear?
If the contestant
It's not the role play, right? So if a person is a winner or a member is a winner, that's it. He has to be at the next level.
Until he's a winner, he can still do how many or whatever opportunities come.
No, I didn't.
So as example, my club has a contest on 30 Pacific.
Okay.
There are 10 clubs which are having ESC. Before my club contest,
Before your club contest, yeah. Before your club contest, you can do anything.
And if I am a winner, then I limit myself to
Correct. Correct. And that's it. Clear? Any questions? Okay. With this, yes, Vikram.
If Rahul then is test speaker, you take mind as well. I didn't have good advantage. So we can't be the speaker and take mind as well.
Then you don't participate in technology.
If you don't participate, if a customer is good member, make sure that DJ notices the speaker. He's same. He should not be the speaker.
It's very rare, Vikram. People,
But it happened.
yeah, it happens, but new membership is very rare.
Right.
Yeah.
now we don't go to the speaker.
So with this, I would like to close the Chief Judge Training Program and we'd like to hand over the stage to Pragya.
Hello everyone, and we had a lot of learning with so many questions coming up, and I could see that kind of an engagement from all of you, which shows that you all are trying to be better, learn something new, and that's what we have invested ourselves in this training today. But how about having a little bit of fun with so much of learnings? So what I do is I'll ask 3 quick questions, something from what DTM Aajay would have told you. You have to raise your hand and answer the question. As simple as that. Because better listening is what can give us a lot of goodies too. Right? So people from the chat can answer, but you will not get the goodies. We can probably put it. Okay. So the first question from DTM Ajay's speech, which he gave here, was, what are the 3 different kind of protests that you can, and please raise your hand, I know all of you would be interested to answer. What are the 3 different kind of protests that you can raise with correct names? You have to tell. You ask the question. Okay. Yes.
Eligibility, content, and reference.
Exact words.
We have one in the chat already. I'm not sure. We are not using the hand.
They are not getting goodies.
No, but I still need to.
Oh, that's okay. But they've chatted. That's not
Yes,
bad.
they have chatted. I'm not going to read that out, but I'm going to tell that your answers are right.
Civil
Wait, don't
has
read.
raised your hand. Can I mute?
But she'll not get the goodie.
That's okay. Can you mute? Can I mute?
No,
No,
let's see the
no.
answer.
Okay, first let's just take the answer from her and then we'll go there. Okay, the one in the last. Yes, you. Very good. I know the goodie might be small, but you still get to eat it.
If this is the cookie, I'm not answering.
It's not for the goodies that you're answering, but it is
No,
how
it
much we
totally
have
is.
learned. How much we have learned on our own time. Okay. So, DTM Ajay told the role players that are needed in the contest. Can somebody tell the role players? Okay, I will not give you the chocolate. Rest I'll keep.
No, I think motivated.
Rest I'll keep.
You have written.
No, you don't have to write an answer. Listen to answer.
That's a long list.
Ajay, only 4. Any 4. Other name the speaker.
Right. Okay, we have Sivlita who's answered in the chat. Can I answer? Can I?
Yeah, so I'll go for Sivlita this time for the order. Yes.
Timer 2, CJ, judges, tally counter is what she is.
Great, amazing. Thank you, Sivlita, for that answer. Huh? Okay, so we'll put this halt to this particular session right now because we have teas and samosas waiting for us downstairs. I would request all of you please join us for the refreshment, and then we'll be back to more learning and a fun game coming next one. And it will not have goodies, but it will have a lot of math. That is the district.